Hello and welcome to Sitcommentary. It's a podcast where we talk about sitcoms.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, that's what we do.
That's
what we do on this podcast. We talk about sitcoms.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Specifically, in this first season, we are talking about Raising Hope. Little,
Yes.
side note that needs to be addressed on this episode is we have, as previously said, we were going to discuss all of Raising Hope on this show in a 44-episode crazy long season. Me and Chris have done some, discussing, and we do not feel that that is beneficial for growing a podcast. It is something I would love to talk about all of the show at some point, and maybe we will. But right now, that's way too much for one season, or So we're gonna be only covering the first season of Raising Hope on this. So it'll be an 11-episode season. We're on episode 3. So you got 7 more, 8 even. I can do math.
Math is hard.
We have 8 more episodes after this one to enjoy, and then Sitcommentary is gonna go on hiatus for a period of time. I'm sure we'll give you some amazing content to fill its place, or not. Who knows? But yeah, so we're only going to be discussing the first season of Raising Hope on this, our first season of Sitcommentary. Today, we're talking about the next 2 episodes of season 1, which are, episode 5, Happy Halloween, and episode 6, I forgot the title, Family Secrets. So,
Whoa.
What?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's late. My brain went poopy. Anyways, yeah, episode 5 and 6.
Yep. So let's start with episode 5, which is titled
Let's do it.
Happy Halloween. This is the Halloween-themed episode. Chris, put your costume on. No, I'm kidding. Chris, we don't have time for a bit.
My costume is me with the hat forwards instead of backwards.
Oh, I hate it because of the way it looks on camera. No more costumes.
I'm a dark, mysterious character now. Ooh, spooky. Oh, ooh, who is he?
Haha, funny
Yes.
bit. Turn that around.
Alright, I'm gonna put it on that. It's bad for the lighting.
Yeah, it's bad. It doesn't work.
Audio listeners won't.
The audio listeners who might exist at some point.
For those of you listening, though, my face is very dark when my hand is turned forward because the lighting in my room is absolutely trash.
To be fair, I'd argue the lighting is really dark on your face no matter what you do. It's just 10 times worse when you have the hat.
Yeah, well, when it's forward.
Yeah. Well, yes. All right. Let's get this started. Like you mentioned, it's late. We should stop dilly dallying and get.
I got places to be. It's 12:30 a.m. Bed primarily.
I just actually real quick. I want to apologize to our viewers because last week I told you, hey, we're gonna change how we record this so it's better for you. I promise. Give us one more chance. And now we're not. We're not changing it. So I'm going to really try to be on the top of my game. But please keep giving us chances.
Yeah, like 8 more chances.
Yeah, like just get through season 1 with us. Just get through season 1.
This is the fun sleep deprived podcast you can listen to. Yeah.
That's actually what the S stands for. It's not Sitcommentary. We lied to you. It's sleep deprived.
Yeah.
All right, so we open this episode, Happy Halloween. We're at the Chance residence.
God. This is a running bit now, huh?
Yeah.
And there's a trail of candy leading to good old Mama.
Yep.
Devouring all of the pre-Halloween giveaway candy.
Yep. And, when we find out, though, that part of why this is a problem, though, is because when Mama... she eats too much candy, she thinks she's 9 years old.
Yeah, she reverts back into a child.
Yeah. Because if you don't know, because somehow you tuned into this episode first, weird choice, but hey, I'm glad you're here. Mama is not all there, to say the least. So
she's mostly not there.
Almost never there. And this episode, for most of this episode, she thinks she's 9 years old. Yeah. Even though she is definitely, the main character's great-grandma, so she is not 9 years old.
No.
No.
Very much not.
So, all right. So we cut now. The next kind of thing is, we got Bert. Bert. He wants to scare Hope with a skull because it's Halloween, and he wants to scare her. But Jimmy won't let him because Hope is a 7-month-old baby who's
It's fair.
there's no reason to scare her. She's a baby, and that would be stupid. Yeah, and Jimmy, then he says, Bert is as bad as the man with the scary mask from around the block.
Yeah. And then we get a series of flashbacks of Jimmy being scared.
Yeah, we go back to specifically the first one here is when Jimmy is 3, and he's explaining now why he hates Halloween because of this man. Who's just scares him, and he goes screaming, and he runs off. And then he ends up spending most of the night being hugged by his dad in his arms because he's just so scared of that stupid, scary man. Also, I want to take a little break real quick here to discuss a slight discussion / almost argument, not quite, that we had last week about Jimmy's age, because there was a different episode called Say Cheese that discussed his age and how old the flashbacks would be to him being 20 and whatnot. We now know that the young flashback is supposed to be him at 3 years old. So, Jimmy is 23 years old.
Oh.
Because that is the same age, that's the same kid at least. Maybe it's supposed to be 3 or 4, but that's the same kid they used for the 20 years ago flashback in Say Cheese. So, Jimmy's about 23. Which actually means you were closer to right when you talked about the middle flashback kid being about 10 or 11. And I was like, no, he's got to be 13 or 14 because of, the timeline. Because I saw that 3-year-old that they say is 3 and that kid looks 5 or 6. Apparently he's supposed to be 3. So, I want to acknowledge that I was wrong. You were right.
Yes.
Jimmy is a 23-year-old character. For the majority of the show, I'm sure obviously the show goes, he's going to age. If he's 23 in season 1, he's going to be 26 in the last season. 27.
Yeah.
No, because if he's 23 this season, 24 next season, 25, he'll be 26. I was right the first time. And then I tried to say, 4 years later, but no, that's not how age actually works.
Right.
But yeah, that was our little side note, just to, acknowledge an argument we had on the last podcast and how I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. I'm that kind of guy. I will admit when I'm wrong.
Wow. Proud of you.
I'm a great person.
I don't know about that. You're a pretty good person. I don't know about great.
All right. So, Virginia, we now cut back to, reality. Oh, wait, no.
Right.
I skipped over. You also mentioned there was a moment when he was 10. They had a flashback of that, him being scared as well, and a moment of
Him
undisclosed. Yeah, probably last Halloween, maybe the Halloween before, somewhere. He's the same actor, so he's supposed to be recent aged.
Probably in his 20s.
Yeah, maybe late teens, maybe 19, maybe barely in high school. Who knows? Either way. There are 3 flashbacks back to back of him being scared by this old man.
Where he runs back to Bert and hugs him.
Yeah. Yep. Which, we cut back to, modern times, and Virginia asks Jimmy if he's, taking Hope trick-or-treating. And Jimmy says no, because he doesn't like Halloween, and he doesn't think it's a good idea. And Virginia tells Bert that he needs to tell Jimmy the truth about the man in the mask.
That there is no man in the mask.
There is no man in the mask. Jimmy, very, very humorously, thinks that means he must be a ghost.
Right.
He is definitely, is confirmed that no, he is not a ghost. And we cut back to the 10-year-old flashback, the flashback from when he was 10.
Yeah.
Not 10 years old, he's 10, which means the flashback's about 13 years ago, due to the timeline we established earlier in this episode.
Right.
So we cut back to that, And we're getting this flashback from a slightly different perspective. It's, kind of just a perspective where we're able to get it revealed that Bert is the man in the mask. And after scaring Jimmy, he would run home waiting for his hug.
Yep.
And now we're back. Of course, yeah. So now we're back to the present, and Jimmy is understandably angry. Right. And, Bert explains he did it because it was the only way to get Jimmy to give him a good hug. Like, Jimmy apparently, as Virginia confirms, used to give him these crappy hugs. They, were like spaghetti.
Two spaghetti noodle.
Yeah, barely hugging him. It didn't seem like care. He'd always give Virginia good hugs. He wouldn't give Bert good hugs, so Bert thought, well, the only solution is to scare the crap and give my son severe trauma to get these hugs.
My child.
Yeah. and Jimmy is still like, you're a monster. You're horrible. And he forbids Bert from being around Hope on Halloween because he doesn't want something like this to happen to Hope.
Yeah.
And so now we're off to Howdy's.
Yep.
Which is, once again, it's somehow you just tuned in. And I still don't know if they've really established well on the show yet if it's called Howdy's. They will at some point. That's the grocery store that Sabrina works at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're off to Howdy's, and, Marcus and Javier, who were, introduced in a past episode, they're two of Jimmy's best friends, and they're, riding on a bike inside the store.
Yep. Sure are.
Yep. And, Sabrina is inside of the milk fridge, and she is having an obvious argument on the phone with someone over something. And, Jimmy notices this, and, kind of seems like he's trying to eavesdrop, but I can't tell if he actually did, because I don't think he ever actually opened the door. I don't know.
No, he did.
Did he?
He opened the door,
just
barely, so that he could listen in on the conversation.
I must have not paid
And then, after she hangs up on the phone with Wyatt,
her boyfriend,
he closes the door, and then opens the door immediately to pretend like he's getting milk, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Sabrina."
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Just the most, non-casual way possible.
And he's like, "Hey, what's wrong?" And, she explains what the argument was about and how, Wyatt was supposed to come down for Halloween, which is her favorite holiday, because her boyfriend Wyatt is off at, college in New York? I think that's...
Yeah, I think
I don't know where they are. I don't know if they ever say where they are, but he's in college at New York.
Yeah, he's away.
Actually, you know what?
Really,
I will say this, actually, now, thinking about something that I think gets established much later due to them trying to tie this into the same world as My Name is Earl. I believe this show is set in New Jersey.
Oh?
I believe that is established at some point. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure the show's set in New Jersey, which explains why, why it can come back down from college sometimes, but, isn't coming down for Halloween like he promised. And, she's just really upset because it's her favorite holiday. And she was supposed to go to this Halloween party with him, and they were, supposed to be dressed as Batman and Robin, and now she's just going to be, a lonely Robin, though Batman.
Which no one wants to be.
No one wants to be Robin at all, let alone by himself.
I don't know. I might want to be like a Dick Grayson Robin. Well, I want to be Nightwing.
Yeah, you want to be Nightwing. You don't want to be Robin. No one wants to be Robin.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dick Grayson didn't want to be Robin. That's why he became Nightwing.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, Jimmy, he's like, hey, I have this Batman costume from last year.
Which he doesn't.
We haven't got to that yet. That hasn't been revealed yet, Chris. Just spoiler.
Spoiler in a few seconds. So anyways, getting to those few seconds from now.
Oh, we're not there yet. There's a funny scene that happens in this scene still. So Jimmy offers to do it and says he'll go to the party with her. She seems touched at the gesture and accepts him going with her. And then, to close out the scene, Javier and Marcus crash their bikes into the pumpkins at the front of the store. It was just a really funny scene. I like the fact that mostly just because we had to reestablish that Javier and Marcus exist, because they haven't been in the last few episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're very infrequent characters. They had to establish them as these weird, crazy guys. So they were just biking around and You know,
Don't worry, they show up in this and the next episode. I think.
No, I think it's just this
No, it's
episode.
just this episode.
Once again, they can't do 2 episodes in a row, Chris. They don't exist.
No, they do. Or do they?
Do they? Only for this season. Spoiler alert, if we ever do discuss a future season in a second season of Sitcommentary down the line, they, I don't believe, ever appear again. It's only this season. There's a couple, I think they have a couple more appearances this season, and that's it.
Well,
yeah.
Rip.
Yep. So, we cut now to Jimmy. He's asking Virginia to make him a Batman costume and watch Hope for him. But
she can do neither.
She can do neither because she promised to take 9-year-old Mama trick-or-treating.
Which, you know, fair.
Because she's 9 years old. She deserves to go trick-or-treating. And, you know, she tells him that, you know, he can, you know, good luck, you know, making your, you know, Batman costume. You can use the fabric, but good luck because there's not a lot of black fabric left because she had to make a kitty cat costume for her Mama, who now walks into the scene, revealing the costume on backwards.
Yep.
And
Cattail on the front.
Cattail right in the crotch. You know what that looks like. On we go.
Yep. On we go. Past that scene.
Yep. And
Yep.
we go to Jimmy. We go to Jimmy.
That is not so great.
Yep. There is a joke that does not age well. I wasn't even going to acknowledge it in our review.
It really does not age well at all.
It does not age well.
They said it, and I went, ooh, big cringe.
It happens with comedy, though. It's part of what makes comedy is sometimes you try to toe the line of acceptable, and sometimes that line gets moved, rightfully so. Yeah. So a joke you said doesn't stand the test of time. Yeah. But so far, I mean, for a show that I think started, I don't remember when it started, but it started years ago. This is only our first joke that really felt like, ooh, they went there.
This is the only joke that I have definitely cringed at.
Yeah.
Very much in a physical sense.
So
everything else, though.
Yeah, everything else. Great. Well, great show.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So we go to Jimmy. He's reluctantly asking Bert to watch Hope. But Bert won't because, he's a monster and, her father forbid him to spend Halloween with her. And also, he's got plans to go egging.
Yeah. Yeah. As a 30-something-year-old man would.
Yeah. Of course, what else would you do on Halloween except for, throw eggs at people's houses, typically?
I don't know. I don't do anything on Halloween, so.
Yeah, I don't really either. But this, where were we? So now we reveal that Jimmy has, decided to, entrust the only characters left he could entrust it with. The characters that are brought out whenever you need someone to do something with. We got Javier and Marcus.
Hey, Javier and Marcus.
And, he asked them to watch Hope. And, Marcus is like, why doesn't he just drop, Hope off at the fire station?
It's what his dad did.
Yeah, and, Jimmy, he's not going to give up his baby to go to a party. And Marcus explains, though, that you get 6 hours, which is what his father, like you said, did to him, to teach him a lesson, because he called him the C word, is what they say in the show. And
well, what does that just to teach their kid a lesson? He's like,
Marcus is like, I'll give you a hint. It starts with a C. That's a good. That's a good joke. It's a nice setup and delivery. Respect that joke. Much better than the joke earlier about Mama's outfit.
Shall not mention.
Yeah, but just it shows you the dichotomy of the show. You could have a great joke, a scene after a really offensive joke that probably should have never made air.
Yeah.
So now we have a quick scene where Virginia and Mama are trick and treating. They are trick or treating, and some punks, they try to steal Mama's candy, but
Mama beats the crap out of them.
She has none of that and chases after them and beats the crap out of them. Virginia tries to stop her, but it's too late.
Yeah. And Mama's vicious about that candy.
Yeah. What's her candy? I believe there's a joke there about how, Mama was real fast when she was 9.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that quick little cutaway line.
Yeah. So now we're...
and then we transition back to Javier and Marcus taking care of Hope?
No. Not yet.
No?
Now we're off to the Halloween party.
Oh, yeah.
And Jimmy's costume, which we have not seen yet, is terrible.
It's pretty bad.
It is real bad. And
it's like a bat, but it's got eye holes cut in it.
Yeah, which I guess spoiler. I'm gonna discuss his costume more at length a little bit later, because I have a bone to pick with the supposed good Batman costume we see later,
which
is also terrible.
To Jimmy's costume.
We'll discuss that when we get to that. But yeah, Jimmy, he has a terrible Batman's costume, and Sabrina seems that she seems already drunk.
Yeah, she's definitely having a good time by the time Jimmy gets
she says, she doesn't need some stupid Wyatt to have a good time, and Jimmy is really on board because, he agrees. We don't need some stupid Wyatt.
How would you?
Yeah, so she asks, who's watching Hope? And, Jimmy, says, she's in good hands. And we cut to the house to reveal that she is not.
In good hands.
Absolutely not in good hands. We have Javier,
who's eating all of the baby food, with some chips.
I don't know if he's eating the chip. Is he eating it with the chip? I don't remember. He does have some chips.
He's dipping the chips into the baby food, like chips and queso, which sounds really good right now. Dang.
Chips? You want chips and baby food?
No, chips and queso.
Baby food, I believe he describes as like a meat pudding, and that's why he likes it.
Yeah.
That sounds appealing.
Why would you waste that on babies?
Because that sounds appealing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, hey, if we ever get a British audience, they like meat pudding.
I guess that's fair. I don't want to insult our potential future British audience, who for some reason chose to go back and watch these videos.
Yeah. Well, if they did.
Sorry you got here, but let's keep talking about the show. Because for some reason you are here, so I guess we should just I was trying to say a funny little cutback to the talking joke, and I screwed it up. All right.
So anyways, back to the talking joke.
So yeah, back to the show. And they're kind of trying to figure out what to do now they have no baby food, and Javier suggests that they just give her a chip. And Marcus is like, we can't do that. They're hot pepper flavored. So
Javier has the bad idea of licking off all of the hot pepper flavor.
He just licks off all the flavor. And, he's like, all right, give her the chip. And Marcus is like, still doesn't work. She doesn't have teeth yet.
Yeah, she's a baby.
And Javier tells Marcus to, chew it up and baby bird it to her. And it's like, hey, it's all right. I already licked it. What's the big deal?
Yeah. It's already been in my mouth, basically, so who cares if it goes in your mouth?
But yeah, thankfully though,
accepts.
Yeah, thankfully though, before he gets a chance to spit this chip into her mouth, Jimmy calls from the party, and during the conversation, it's casually brought up that there's some extra baby food in the pantry, and so yeah, then he talks about how it's a good party, how Sabrina, she seems that she might want to get back at Wyatt, which makes him, happy, so we end the phone call, and we stay at the party for a little bit, and, my brain broke there. It does that sometimes.
Sabrina, does the
it's a very seductive, flirtatious dancing to be like, hey, come dance with me. Which, little side note for people who tune into this podcast, who aren't you, because you won't get the reference, the specific, it might be a real dance, but, the specific, fishing with the person jumping to them dance was a joke that happened multiple times on My Name is Earl, which is created by the same creators. So that was a little callback for us, fans of both shows.
I see.
But yeah, and then
I'm pretty sure that's definitely just a thing that happens in general.
Probably, but I do think that was in this show because it was brought up multiple times on that show as like a dance that the fat brother Randy liked to do.
Yeah, let's see.
But yeah,
that's fair.
So they're dancing, they're having fun, and Wyatt
Spaghetti-O
showed up in a crappy Batman costume. Now it's time to talk about it. The supposed rich guy with the better costume. We have the shot being like, oh, wow, look how bad Jimmy's costume is. They definitely shoot it in a way where you're supposed to be like, wow, Jimmy's costume sucks. And then Wyatt's costume, sure, looks store-bought and not homemade, but not like Batman.
No. It looks like a Wyatt's costume, but it's like slightly better.
Yeah, it's just like the nice version of Jimmy's
identical.
costume. Yeah.
The thing that's nicer, really, it's only like the most noticeable part is the mask.
But even the mask, though, doesn't look like a Batman cowl. It looks like a bat mask, like Jimmy tried to make. And it's like, wait, what? We made a big deal about how bad Jimmy did, and then Wyatt's good costume still sucks.
Yeah. The only person who had a good costume here was Sabrina.
Yeah, her Robin costume was pretty good.
It was pretty solid.
So, and Jimmy's like, all right, I'm just going to leave now because, Wyatt's here. And Wyatt's like, no. Oh, no, I think Virginia.
Well, Wyatt and
Wyatt and Sabrina were like, no, that's not cool. Just because I showed up doesn't mean you have to leave. We're having fun. We're partying. We're all together today.
Yeah, we're all hanging out.
Yeah, so they keep dancing, and we cut back to Virginia and Mama. Wait.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. No.
Yep.
They're still trick or treating, and they arrive at.
Yeah, I read the wrong spot. I was further down where we cut back to them because I knew that's what was next, but I went to the wrong part of my paper. Here we are.
And this lady won't give Mama any candy because she's not 14 or under.
Yeah, she's a
she's
elderly woman,
an elderly lady.
And Virginia behind her is like, she's crazy. Just come on, just give me candy so I can go home.
Yeah.
And this woman is having none of it. Closes the door right in their face, and Mama very angrily goes, "Mom," because she thinks Virginia's her mom right now. "Can we play a trick?" And Virginia is
Virginia agrees.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. So now we, cut back to the party, and Jimmy finds Sabrina passed out, and some weird guy in a ref costume
is sniffing her feet.
Yeah, is smelling her feet. Guy, apparently, I believe I've heard that the casting for that role is they actually tried to get Dan Schneider, but he was busy.
Ah! That's a nice joke.
That's a joke because Dan Schneider is a weirdo.
Yeah, he's a weird foot guy. But like a really bad weird foot guy.
Yeah.
If you do that in private with consent.
Sure, which, once again, this scene did not have consent, which made this guy a loser and a weirdo. Yeah. And, Jimmy shoos him off. He's like, get away. And, no, actually, he actually doesn't shoo him off yet. He's still in the room because, yeah.
Like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, well, nothing.
Yeah. So then Wyatt comes in and sees that she's passed out. And I was like, crap. Me and some of my friends from high school, they want me to go to this other party. Jimmy, can you hang out with her? Which Jimmy is really confused on why Wyatt wants him to hang out with his, passed out girlfriend. And Wyatt, somewhat understandably so, is kind of level-headed, like, because you're her friend and you're protecting a friend.
Yeah, although some might say this could be foreshadowing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I feel like that scene is supposed to be kind of foreshadowing of, oh, look, Wyatt doesn't care about her. Wyatt left her. But Wyatt left her with a guy that, from all accounts he's heard, is a close friend of hers. So he really shouldn't have had anything to worry about. That scene is played like Jimmy's like, this guy's crazy for trusting me with her. But it's like, what? No, you're a good person. There shouldn't be anything to worry about, right?
I mean, yes and no is, man.
I get it. I get what they're trying to say, but I'm kind of slightly on Wyatt's side in the retort he has. Like, yeah, I'm trusting her friend to keep her safe.
That's a fair retort.
Yeah, it's like, you're her friend.
But it's definitely like the vibes that it gives off, especially with like the context of, oh hey, I'm supposed to go hang out with my friends at this other party, like
I agree it
be
shows
a good boyfriend.
Yeah,
and,
no, I agree that it does paint him in a bad light of like not caring about her, but Jimmy's line is delivered like, what's wrong with you for trusting me? Like there's like a hint of that.
Yeah.
It's like, really? That just feels like a weird place to take this. Like you're not supposed to be a creep who's trying to do anything to her. You're the main character. I know.
But also, like, what if he was? Like, Wyatt doesn't really know Jimmy either.
But Wyatt trusts Sabrina, who trusts Jimmy and has talked about him, because that has been established, I think, earlier in the scene, like, about, you're her friend, she, like, he knows that they're friends. So, I don't know, I felt like that scene was felt a little out of place, where it's like, okay. I can see both sides, but I also feel like we're not supposed to see both sides. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that scene is supposed to feel like, can you believe this Wyatt guy? When I'm like, I mean, sure, he's not great, but, like, also, he trusts this guy because he's supposed to be her friend. I don't know. I just felt like that scene felt a little weird to me.
Don't trust men, Austin.
Apparently, all men want to sleep with your girlfriend, so even if they're really close friends who they should care about their safety, don't trust them.
That's right. Don't forget it.
All right. We'll move on.
Moving on.
We'll move on. So, sorry. Real quick, little funny joke during that scene is, weird foot guy's like, no, that's cool. You guys can both leave. I'll keep her safe.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and Wyatt are both like, no, get lost.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So now, and then we switch back to Virginia and Mama,
they're keeping that jerk's house, because how dare her? She's a jerk. Just give the old crazy lady candy.
And a cop arrives.
Yeah. And they're trying to explain the story. And they're like, hey, you're not going to arrest people for TPing some jerk's house on Halloween for not giving us candy. And he's like, well, I might when the people TPing are adults and that jerk is my wife.
And this is my house.
Yeah. But like, before he has a chance to arrest them, Bert and a bunch of kids kind of cause a ruckus and are running past, and he chases after Bert and the group of kids Bert's apparently hanging out with.
Yeah, because they're egging houses.
Because, yeah, Bert's hanging out with kids, egging houses.
Yeah, because Bert's just a grown child.
Yeah, totally. So now we cut to Jimmy, who is, carrying Sabrina.
I passed out Sabrina.
Yeah, passed out Sabrina, still passed out, back to his house. The, creepy foot guy is trying to follow them, and Jimmy shoos him away, and then he tries to follow him again, and Jimmy chases after the guy, and then that's it for creepy foot guy. So they're back at the Chance residence.
Right.
And they trip over something and they fall onto the couch, and Sabrina wakes up. She wakes up as they're going in the house, and she talks about how she doesn't want to go in there because she doesn't like haunted houses. And Jimmy's like, no, this is just my house.
Yeah, this is just my house.
Yeah, and they trip and they fall onto the couch, and Sabrina's like, why aren't you kissing me? And they start kissing, and but then we find out that after such a great kiss, she's like, whoa,
where'd you learn to kiss like that?
You're not cheating on me, Wyatt. So we find out that she thought she was kissing Wyatt. She did not. This is not the oh my gosh they kissed moment that you might have been hoping for. Yeah. She did not realize she was kissing Jimmy. She thought she was kissing her boyfriend Wyatt.
Which, in Sabrina's defense,
they are wearing the same costume.
And Jimmy's costume are basically the same.
And she's drunk off her quality.
And also that.
And like we pointed out earlier, maybe her boyfriend should have been the one to carry drunk Sabrina home, not her friend who was left with her. So, so she kisses him, and then she passes back out again. So Jimmy leaves.
Jimmy really sad that he got the kiss, but it wasn't in the context.
It wasn't a real kiss. He didn't really get the kiss that he thought he was getting. Because for him it was real, for her it was not. And so he leaves passed out Sabrina on the couch, and he goes to his room to go check on Hope. And when he gets in there, there's no Hope. But in the the crib.
Yep, the cradle, one might say.
Cradle, crib, bassinet. There's a lot of names you could call whatever babies sleep in.
There sure is.
Actually,
all of them are
to
correct.
be fair, I think bassinet actually.
This one is probably more of a crib.
Yeah, it's more. It's definitely not a bassinet, but yeah. So Jimmy goes to the room and he finds a note from Marcus, and
Javier.
no, I mean yes, but it's from Marcus's point of view. We hear it being read as Marcus's voice. Javier doesn't say anything in it, but he talks about how hey. He does mention Javier. He says, "Hey, Javier got a booty call, so we had to leave." And it's okay though. They dropped Hope off at the fire station, and Jimmy, he's got till 6 to pick her up. And we pan to the camera. We pan to the clock, and we find out
and it's 5:55,
and he only has 5 minutes, or he's gonna lose Hope.
Yeah, he's losing hope.
It's crazy. So sad.
Yeah.
So he goes out and he tells, he starts telling Bert about this, and he's like, "What? I'm gonna lose her. I gotta save her." And he's like, and Bert's like, "All right, just go pick her up." He's like, "I can't drive like this. I'm drunk." And he's like, "Can you drive me, Dad?" And he's like, "I've been out egging houses with kids all day. You think I'm sober?"
Yeah.
So, because neither of them are sober, they have to, get on bikes and start trying to bike to the fire station.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Jimmy, he has a flat on his bike. So Bert's like, "Don't worry, I got this. Daddy's got this. I'm gonna go save the day. I'm gonna go get her." We kind of, we do a nice little fade to show the passage of time. Jimmy's still trying to truck along, and over the hill, there's Bert pushing the carriage, and he saved Hope just in time. Everything's good. Jimmy runs over there. He's so happy. He gives Bert this huge hug. And, just because of what his dad did for him.
Yeah.
And now we, make sure I'm in the right spot. Yep. All right, now we're back to the house again, and Jimmy is putting Hope in her crib, and he finds wet drool in the crib, which makes no sense because she's been at the fire station for almost 6 hours, which means it shouldn't be wet drool.
Right.
And Jimmy realizes that Bert must have been part of this. Yep. And he asks him what the crap happened, and Bert explains the whole plan about how he came home and how he orchestrated this whole thing, how he basically it was all fake. He put the hole in the tire. He sent Javier and Marcus out the window like right before he wrote the note, all that, and Jimmy, understandably so, is furious. How dare he do this just to get a hug again? This is the same crap he pulled with the mask years ago.
Yep.
And we kind of got another passage of time. We cut to Hope, and she's she Hope and Jimmy in their room, and Hope is woken up by the thunder, and she's just so scared. And Jimmy comes over to console her, and he gives her a hug, and she hugs him back because she's being comforted. And then we kind of have a little
moment where Jimmy realizes that maybe Bert isn't such a monster after all.
We have one of those voiceover moments where we have Jimmy talking about why it's so important, why hugs from your kid are so important, how it shows that
it makes you feel wanted.
Yeah, it shows that your child thinks you're important and all that, and like stuff like that. And just there's a nice little song that plays, and we cut to all of them.
I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
if you've watched episode 5, you'll know. You know.
You would.
If you know, you know.
If you know, if you're part of the cool kids who know, you know.
I don't know what the song is, but I know what the song is.
Yeah, I got you. And then we during the song we're showing all of them kind of just sleeping happily. We have Bert and Virginia sleeping in their bed, just seems to be sleeping peacefully. We got Mama covered in candy all around her. We pan to Sabrina on the couch sleeping. Still that beautiful loving song playing, and then the song kind of fades out. and
throws up.
Sabrina throws up all over the floor, and that's how the episode ends. Because, well, like a lot of these episodes, we can have a really good heart moment towards the end, but we always have to end with a laugh. We cannot end on a happy note.
Yeah.
This is a sitcom, gosh darn it.
Dang it all. Laugh. Laugh.
Puke.
Laugh.
Puke is funny. Alright, so let's talk about episode 6.
I need to get out of this call.
Huh?
No, we've just been podcasting for 2
Oh,
hours.
yeah. Well, 3.5, actually.
We're being held hostage. Help.
This episode is shut up. We're never going to finish.
Episode 6, Family Secrets.
This episode opens with them going through boxes of stuff from Hope's dead mom, Lucy, from prison. Which I guess...
That's right, we're in the Chance residence.
We are in the Chance residence once again. I was trying to only do that joke once per episode. I already did it twice. I don't know why we're doing it a third time in our episode.
I'll kill this joke. I promise. I'll find a way.
So we're going through the stuff that she, Lucy left for Hope from, when she was, killed at prison. Because she's, a murderer. So she's put on death row. One thing that was left for Hope were some tapes.
Videotapes?
Yeah, videotapes that her mom recorded before she died that she wanted Hope to have when she grew older. The videos are filled with, violence and language immediately off the bat. And, there'll be almost a moment of, a happy moment. Like, oh, that's going to be a sweet thing. And then it's like, oh, no. Okay, no, it's not.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And, she's teaching her about murder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tells her not to, play in a specific sandbox because that's where bodies are hidden. It's not good. These are not tapes you want your little child to ever see. And, Virginia is like, we have to burn all of this stuff. And maybe in a church, because burning it might not be good enough, and that might need to be burned in a church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Virginia basically wants to keep all this stuff a secret from Hope.
Needs to burn it all because it's bad. It's not good. And Jimmy's like, we can't do that. This is all Hope has left of her mom. Yeah. And, Virginia says that sometimes you have to, protect your child from the truth. And Jimmy's like, I don't want to lie to Hope. And Virginia responds that he's a parent now, and that's part of the job. Which Jimmy, somehow, just now realizes that his parents have lied to him in his life.
Yeah.
This seems like a huge revelation to him that parents could lie.
Yeah. And so he asks what all his parents have lied to him about.
And Virginia lists off some kind of weird but kind of harmless ones that aren't that important.
Yeah.
And Bert then adds that Jimmy's not really allergic to fruit, which I do believe was a throwaway line in a previous episode. I could be wrong. I think it was a throwaway line that he mentioned at some point, but
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't remember for sure. And Jimmy, he can't believe it. Wait, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, I jumped to the wrong spot. I mean, yes, he couldn't believe it, but that's this lie, originated because Jimmy, as a kid,
would eat all the fruit.
All the fruit before anyone else could, anyone else could. So she told him he was allergic, so everyone else could have a chance at eating fruit. And this is where I wrote, Jimmy can't believe it. He couldn't believe it there also, but this is where I wrote it, and I jumped too far in my notes.
Ah.
Jimmy can't believe it, and he doubles down on why this is why he's keeping Lucy's tapes for when Hope is older. You can't see this is what happens when lying. There's this thing I believed for my whole life, and it's not right. I'm gonna go save these tapes.
Yeah, and it is. I think worth mentioning that in the scene, Bert tells Jimmy that he's never lied to him.
Yes.
It's just not
not revealed his mother's secrets.
Yeah. He said it's It's my own personal hell.
Yeah, because
My
he never
own
lies to his
secret hell.
kid, but he's also he doesn't lie, but he's also a really good secret keeper. So he has to keep his mom's secrets, but also not lie, and it's his own personal hell.
Yeah.
And, you know, Virginia is, like, very, like, hey, you need to get rid of this, and, you know, she's just insisting on this, that, like, this is one of those big secrets that you never tell your kid.
And then Jimmy realizes, oh, there's a big secret.
There's a bigger secret that she's keeping from him.
Yeah.
Because you don't say that if you don't have a secret.
Right. Right.
And so we cut away. We cut to Jimmy and Howdy's, and, you know, he's eating a bunch of fruit.
Because, you know, he's not allergic anymore.
He's not allergic, and he can finally eat fruit.
Yeah, I should say he was never allergic.
Yeah, he was never allergic, so he can actually eat fruit again. He's happy. He's trying all these fruits for what feels like the first time.
And he assures, you know, because he's just straight up eating them in the store, and he's saving, like, all the pits of the fruit so that he can pay for them.
And Sabrina's like, oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, like I care.
And she just picks up an apple and eats it.
Yeah.
Because Sabrina is a terrible worker.
Yeah, terrible grocery store.
Terrible grocery store worker. And, you know, so then Jimmy after that kind of brings up the whole, like, there's a bigger secret that she's also keeping, which, you know, Sabrina, she tells him that he has to keep looking, because, like, what if he was born with both male and female parts, and they sewed up the female parts? And then she's like, oh my god, I figured it out. And Jimmy's like, I don't think so, but I'll keep looking.
Oh, yeah. And so, man, it cuts back. We cut
to Jimmy and his dad at work, and, you know, Jimmy's trying to, you know, find a way to get Bert to tell him without telling him, being like, hey, let me quiz you, let me guess random lies that I think it might be, or random things that might be lies, and if it's true, tell me it's true. If it's not, tell me it's not. Like, it's not the same. You're not telling me what it is, but if I guess it, you'll let me know that it's it.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they go through some comical ones that I didn't write down because they don't. It's just me retelling every joke isn't always necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I tell the ones that really get me. Like, I really like the one about, you know, sewing up, you know, his female parts. That was funny to me.
Fair.
And, you know, he goes through them, and, you know, Bert tells him if they're true or they're not. One of them was undecided, and then he gets to one where he's like, hey, is it this one? Is it that, you know, Virginia's mom, his grandma, was she really a missionary in Africa? And Bert gets all silent, doesn't say any of that one, so Jimmy realizes that must be it.
Yes, surely.
So now we cut to, you know, Jimmy, you know, he's, you know, decides that
trying to find out ways to find out the truth about his grandma.
Yeah. I guess I thought there was a scene in between this, but according to my notes there isn't, and I normally do a pretty good job keeping notes. So Jimmy decides the best way to, you know, get the info on his grandma would be because, you know, he knows his mom's not going to tell him.
Right.
So he feels the best way to figure this out is to, you know, try to talk to his grandma when she's lucid, or his great grandma. He tries to talk to his great grandma. He tries to talk to his great grandma Mama when she's lucid. And, you know, the best way to, you know, get her lucid is to, you know, wake her up from a deep sleep. And so now we have a little montage of failed attempts of him trying to wake her up and, you know, not being able to get the information quick enough before she falls out of lucidity. So then he has to, you know, find some way to soothe her back into sleep before he tries again. And we go through a couple of different, you know, little montage of that. And he eventually gets to it. He gets her lucid long enough, and Mama tells him that his mom lied to him for a good reason, and to stop digging.
Yeah, so even Mama, when she's lucid, wouldn't tell him.
Yeah, she's like, no.
That's how we know it's a big secret.
Big old secret. Now we kind of cut to just kind of a little fun scene. Bert's talking to Hope.
Gives Jimmy a star fruit?
No. That's later.
Oh.
This is a little kind of... It's like the C plot of this episode is Bert spending time with Hope.
Yes.
This is the first scene of him spending time with Hope, talking to her about the stuff that she'll miss out if they throw away all the stuff, and he's going through her mom's stuff, and he finds her serial killer trading cards, and her
all the greats.
Yeah, he lists off a couple horrible monster serial killers, calls them greats.
Yeah.
He has her news clippings, and then he finds a voodoo doll of the warden or maybe Al Roker.
Or Al Roker, yeah.
Because there's reasons to not like Al Roker.
Well, there's reasons.
He lists off, and then he gives that to Hope, and he tells her to don't hug it too tight, because people still need to know when it's gonna rain.
When it's gonna rain, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now that scene was too funny to not talk about at all. Now we can get to the actual important plot points. Sabrina bringing Jimmy a star fruit.
Which
and
is a delicious fruit, by the way.
I've never had a star fruit.
Very juicy, very delicious. Which we get to see in the scene when Jimmy first takes a bite of the star fruit. He just straight up, with the sticker on, takes a chomp right out of it, and just juice is pouring out of his mouth.
Yeah, and he also, while all that's happening, he's also updating her on what the secret is. He tells her all about it, and she have a little back and forth dialogue about that, and she asks him as she's about to leave, if he had checked on the internet to try to get information about this, and he replies that
he's like, my house doesn't get internet tubes.
Yeah, they don't have the internet. Yeah.
He was like,
and then,
wait, dang it!
And he really realized that his mom lied to him again. And Jimmy then, we cut next to see is Jimmy confronting her about the internet. He's like, we do get internet tubes. And during the scene, he's starting to, itch uncontrollably. And also, his towards the end of the scene, his tongue starts to swell. Because, he's apparently allergic to starfruit.
Yeah. He is indeed actually allergic to a fruit.
Yeah. And, so... she, tells him that, I was protecting you from this, and this is the problem when you go digging. You end up finding out that you actually are allergic to starfruit. I was keeping you safe. And, he's still, not happy with this, and so she starts, kind of starts crying, and it's like, fine, you want me to tell... No, he tells her, well, Sabrina's still going to look it up on the internet, and we're going to find out what's going on. And she then starts breaking down and crying, and, she, then tells him in tears that, the truth is. And she tells this little story about, his grandma who was, putting there was a bee nest.
Yeah, and she was trying to collect honey.
So she, climbed on a little ladder with a bag over her head, tied tightly.
Bag over her head.
Yeah, because she didn't want to get stung by the bees. But, she ran out of air because she had a plastic bag over her head. And she falls back and hits her head on a duck.
Yeah.
Because...
And that duck was what killed her.
Yeah.
Which,
I didn't get the setup.
He prefaces the story by telling her grandma was... Or his grandma was killed by a duck. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then they go into talking about bees and, the bag suffocation. I thought, the bag was what killed her, right?
Yeah. But nope, she hit her head on a duck. On a little lawn duck.
Yeah.
And she says that, she kept this from him because when she was a kid, people always made fun of her for this because, her mom died and how stupid her mom died. And she just wanted to, keep that from him.
Comes from idiot kin.
Yeah, she didn't want him to know that.
Yeah.
And, Jimmy's like, oh, Jimmy accepts that. And, we then cut to Howdy's, where Jimmy is sitting on the floor, eating more starfruit, but now chasing it with antihistamines to,
to counteract it. Because starfruit's just too delicious.
Because he loves starfruit too much to not. Sabrina comes up and is like, well, that's a good system you have there. And, just nonchalantly, gives him info on his very much alive grandma and what she's been doing. And
bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, she found all this on the internet. And, Jimmy's like, wait, what? She's alive?
Yeah. And so
we
they
now
said that they're going to go find
Oh, you're right.
Jimmy's grandma.
That's right. And now we cut to another scene of Bert showing Hope her mom's stuff.
Yep.
This time it starts with Polaroids of her mom's sleeping victims.
Yep. These are a bunch of men who are sleeping.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right. And what else?
And he gets a bag of cruelty-free makeup. And he talks about how every time you think she zigs, she zags. Because she's apparently really environmentally conscious and a serial killer.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to test, makeup on animals.
You don't want to hardcore. Yeah, you don't want to hardcore animals because that'd be mean.
Yeah, that'd be mean. But also, kill everyone.
Yeah, she's also a killer. And there's a note on this, about the medicine, about the makeup, and it says that she's not allowed to wear makeup until she turns 14, or earlier if she's fat. Which Bert then is really sad because if they throw all this stuff away, she's never gonna get a chance to use this stuff. And then he says well, no offense,
you are looking
a little chubby. And we get a nice cut pan to him after he gave her a full makeup, like really badly done makeup because he's Bert, but full makeup.
Yep.
And now we cut to Jimmy and Sabrina arriving at a house to meet his grandma. It's a house we've never seen before because it's his grandma's house, and she eventually she comes to the door.
Presumably dead.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah, she's not. She comes to the door and she's, she doesn't know who she's like, oh, you guys are here for the party, you guys look way younger than we normally have, because his grandma's a swinger.
Yep, she sure is.
She talks about how she thinks she might recognize him, and he's like, no, you don't. And then she's like, okay, maybe from this angle, and she turns around and shows him her butt, which, by the way, this is his grandma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, mama. But not mama.
No, not mama. And so then we,
Has probably showed Jimmy her.
Well, yes, but that's a whole different reason.
Yeah. Because she's not there mentally.
Yeah. That's funny because she's not sane. Wait.
Hold on.
I don't feel like I feel right. Are we laughing down at Mama? Ooh.
We might be.
That's not good.
So anyway.
All right. So we cut to them in the back, and he keeps calling her grandma, and she keeps telling him not to call her that because she's no one's grandma. That's not the life she wanted. And
right.
She tells him how when she had Virginia, she wanted to put her up for adoption, but Mama wouldn't let her. So Mama raised her, and she told her, fine, but you have to tell her a story so she never comes and looks for me. Yeah. And Jimmy mentions what story that they told, and she's like, oh, that old story? And grandma, she's like, that's from an old Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, she just doesn't seem to want to be a part of their lives at all. And that scene's a little bit longer, but that's the gist of it. So we cut away from that scene. And we have Virginia asking Jimmy where he'd been all day. And Jimmy, he lied to her and told her he was, eating kumquats. And she's like, but you've been gone for 4 hours. He's like, they're just so good.
Yeah. And then Virginia's like, well, see, this is why we had to tell you we're allergic to fruits.
So, I think that now we have one of those, monologues from Jimmy that we get where he's talking about how sometimes it's good to, sometimes you have to, keep some of the truth from people to protect them, kind of thing. And we kind of cut to, Jimmy deciding to show Hope an edited version of Lucy's tapes.
Of the tapes. Because Sabrina helped Jimmy edit together some of those videotapes.
And they just basically
a little bit less rated R, more rated G.
They only keep the really like the starts of sentences I want you to be healthy and eat oatmeal, but the actual next part's talking about how she could kill someone with it or something like that, and they only kept those parts. Earlier we skipped over the scene because it wasn't important, but there was a scene where Bert was watching part of the videos where she was dancing, showing her how to dance, how to sexy dance, because she might need to know that when she's older. And so now we have a shot of that where she's teaching her how to hula hoop.
Hula hoop instead.
Yeah. So it's a fun little scene. It's It's just all the good qualities, none of the evil. There's some really
Yeah.
badly edited, shots of Hope in the video, and like this, just Hope
Just her
and
head pasted onto like another person's body.
There's like a scene of like these two people walking, like a mother and a kid, and it's just a giant copy of Lucy's face and a giant Hope face pasted on top of them horribly. It's like, yeah, and that's that's that episode. Yeah.
And that also concludes the third episode of Sitcommentary.
Yes. So I hope you enjoyed it. Final thoughts. Was this week good? Did you enjoy it?
I did.
All right.
It was fun.
That's
I didn't
a win.
have quite as many feel-good moments as
That's fair.
last week, but I enjoyed it
I
nonetheless.
feel like this episode definitely had less feel-good moments. This episode, normally you get like a feel-good moment in an episode. This episode didn't have one.
Yeah.
I guess the feel-good moment was supposed to be the video at the end, but that was just a joke, so it didn't feel like a feel-good moment.
Yeah. I think the feel-good moment was where
I guess where he decided
Jimmy empathized with his mom
Yeah.
about like keeping some secrets
Yeah.
and realizing that there was some secrets that even his mom had
She didn't
been
even know
kept
about.
from.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is Sitcommentary. Like we mentioned at the top of the video, Sitcommentary is, a shorter. We're gonna be doing a shorter season now. We're not doing, 44 episodes because that's kind of crazy. So we're just doing 11 episodes, talking about the first season. We got a couple more episodes. Next week, actually, we're going to be having a special episode. I say we, but it's actually just going to be me. Chris is out of town. He's visiting his sister. So he's not going to be in town all next week. He's leaving me with all the work. He's not going to help. What a jerk. Yeah, and so next week, as a special episode, because obviously I don't want to talk about Raising Hope without Chris. Part of why this show exists is so I can introduce Raising Hope to Chris. I'm not going to review it without him. So next week, instead of doing nothing, I've decided that I'm going to do a special episode where it's just me talking. It's going to talk about my top 10 favorite sitcoms of all time.
Oh my god!
I know, it's going to be crazy. If you like another show we do called Kentucky Route 5, cheap plug.
Nice.
This is kind of like that, but a longer version, and it's a one-off. It's going to be an episode of Sitcommentary. Then we'll return to your normal Sitcommentary lineup in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Please keep giving us chances, because man, do we need it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Bye-bye.
So long.